You're watching This Month in Model Railroading News with Ron Pare and Dustin Fisher. Enjoy.
This Month in Model Railroading News is brought to you by Walther's Train Lines and Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply, where you can get all the supplies you need to get your Proto 87 tracks made yourself in their own jigs. A member on our Modelers Guild Facebook group, James Risner, had a video go viral this month with his experiments in long trains. In his latest video, James made a spiral track that folds in on itself and into an infinitely looped model train. Finding the end of the train isn't going to happen and instantly became a perfect internet meme. So what do you think about this? Have you seen the picture, Dustin?
Yeah, I saw that. It's pretty phenomenal.
It's hard to even see where the engines are.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like what is it? Tony's miniature scale?
No, this is HO scale.
It's HO.
Yeah, it's mesmerizing, eh?
Yeah. I'm just pulling it up and I'm looking at it. I'm like, what in the heck did he do for details? When I'm sitting here asking myself.
Oh, he does it for fun. He's actually doing it into a figure eight now, I think, with two of those irises or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
So what's your piece of news, buddy?
Okay, well, this next one that comes up is Epic City built for a man's grandkids, which is kind of where it hits home, and home is where the heart is with this, because we are looking at, inspiring the next generation of model railroading. And I think this guy has hit the whole point of what we do. Mm-hmm. He actually built a full HO scale city that is a replica of a city that he was born in for his grandkids, down to the very detail.
They can play with their cars and stuff on it.
Yeah, they can play with cars on it. They can run trains. He has, even if you notice from the photos, he has even some interactive and moving parts, and so it looks like it's a live city.
Cool. Very cool.
And he actually he's lived on the Hudson since 1978, and he decided he wanted to leave a legacy for his grandkids of where he grew up and what he saw, because a lot of the landscape started changing with, changing industry and times and stuff like that. And he just really wanted to give his grandkids something they could enjoy from his. And looking at it here, it looks like it's been a big hit. And it looks like the biggest tourist attraction is a add-in clock tower that actually works and chimes as if he was replicating the Big Ben.
Cool. My kids play on my layouts all the time. I find, I'm constantly fixing these little details, but, one day they're going to have to fix the details.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the thing about it is it's hit close to home is my mom was raised around 1950 Chevy's vehicles. Well, her first car was a 1957 Chevy two-door hardtop. And so he has really gone back to the detail of what the city looks like, even going back to the 1950 style vehicles. If you notice that one of his cars that he mentions is an exact replica of a 1955 Chevy right off the showroom floor. So, if you look at what he's done, he's not only enjoying the hobby, but he's creating the next generation to enjoy the hobby. But that was something that just really tugged on me, because he's doing it for the kids and doing it for his grandkids. Yeah. So what piece of news did you have for us next, Ron?
Next story, we found a group who has our interests at heart. Kids are spending their last week of summer vacation as train engineers this week at Alexandria Treehouse Children's Museum. The Junior Engineer Camp is a staple at the Children's Museum and offers so many different lessons, Museum Director Kara Edwards said. The students work together to design and construct a model train platform and track, and they learn how to run trains for members of the Rockwell Railroad crew at the museum. They use geometry to find the right angle for the curve of the track get creative with design, hone fine motor skills in putting together buildings from kits, and even learn to use power tools with supervision, she said. The links of all our articles are down in the description if you want to follow along or read the entire article.
Yeah, Ron, what impressed me about this story is it's a whole community that comes to give back to the kids. And that's what you and I have been, thriving on for the last, 6 to 8 months since we met, is finding unique ways to give back to the kids. And I think this camp has certainly found a way to bring the hobby of trains, the skills of modeling, and kids back together in a unique fashion.
Yes. In fact, I'm going to send this story to my local children's museum and see what they can do. I've tried to get them involved a couple of times, but, sometimes it's about getting them to think the same way you are. Mm-hmm. And because I'm a creative guy, it's hard for me to do that. So maybe this story could help them, Yeah,
it could inspire them and give them some creative ideas, because I know a lot of non-for-profits like museums and myself, we're always concerned about expense when you put on projects like this. Mm-hmm. So, even then, you could send them a message and tell them that I have some creative ideas to help them fundraise for an event like this, and I'd be sure to help them.
Yeah.
So, that would be something that, you could bring the community together and bring a lot of resources together to make it fun for kids. And, that's what that whole story is about. And talking about fun in the hobby, the next story we have is called Nothing Miniature About It. And this really caught my eye, because you have to literally see this beyond the naked eye to really see the detail of what's going on. And it says, spying an impressive full-scale model train setup can be a surreal sight, for it boasts a knack for knocking the socks off the observer. Knocking the socks off the observer? That's a good quote. Whether that person is a model train buff or not, consider the thrill of seeing a world in miniature form from a bird's eye view, where various locomotives move and pass through tunnels, then pass to the recall of the toy trains you might have owned when you were a kid. Miss them still? Wish you kept them? There's a new way to find a bird's eye thrill again, and this is in the Diablo Valley lines, riding the Diablo Valley lines, which is actually a system they have set up where you are actually almost like a passenger going through a miniature world.
And the image they have is just beautiful. Like you just see an expanse of trains. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And if you look at the detail and the intricate of that work, who would not enjoy going through there when you almost feel like you're a live involvement in what's going on in that model setup? And I think that's what a lot of modelers strive for, is to bring the people that observe it into their world of modeling and what they're trying to portray.
So where is that Diablo lines, Dustin?
Looks like it's the San Francisco Bay Area, from what I see here, Ron.
Next story. There's another place to visit trains as a thing to bring your family to. There's a place in New Jersey where mountain gorges descend sharply into turbulent rolling rivers. Through these rocky ravines, train tracks cling precariously to the steeply pitched mountainsides. A locomotive passes on its daily rounds on the gravity-defying line, winding its way through treacherous terrain, then disappears into the inky blackness of a narrow tunnel into a mountain. The Northlands is a well-known model rail. It's more of an attraction than a model railroad club, right?
Yes.
Have you been there?
No, I have not. I wish I could, though.
I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I heard that it's really old and it's and stuff like that. But it's a nice article, and maybe it's a good read.
Yeah, and I definitely challenge for anybody that likes the heritage and the vintageness of model railroading to go back and consider touring that, because looking at the features, you're looking at what the area would look like back before it was well developed.
Yeah.
With business. So you're actually taking a step back in time. And that's something I absolutely enjoy as a model railroader, or a modeler or somebody that's a train fan is be given the opportunity to step back in time and see what it was like before we had, the F units, before we had the different GP39s, stuff like that, and the modern conveniences of what rail travel and modeling has brought us. A lot of those guys, if you think about it, my grandfather used to woodwork with his knife, but he used to create some phenomenal stuff. And sometimes if you want to really appreciate what they went through and what they saw, you have to step back into where they were.
Very true.
So that's something phenomenal. Ron, we've got about a 5-second break here, and then we're going to go to your story about Canadian hospital receiving a train set.
Oh, yeah, that, eh?
Okay, we'll be right back with you, folks. Ron, why don't you tell us about this new project you have about building a suitcase layout for the local children's hospital?
Well, earlier this year, we met each other, and you had the Operation Christmas train set up, and you're promoting it, and you really inspired me. You really touched my heart, because this is where I think that people really should be focusing on paying it forward, is not to people who are going to take from the hobby, but people who are the future givers of the hobby, and I think that's kids. So I was inspired by you to do this, and you guys kind of encouraged me to do it. So I decided to build a rock solid, smallish, portable model train layout for a children's hospital, something that will be packed up into a suitcase-like format and roll away to be stored easily in a hospital. Because I think that those are all the things that a hospital would think about, when they're being given something for charity. Like, it's not always a big plus to have a great big layout that's taken a lot of room.
Exactly.
So I wanted to build something that they could stand up on its end and roll it away on casters. And I figured the perfect format for this was like a musician's roadie case, one of those black roadie cases that has the speakers and stuff in it, or the cords, patch cords. So I used to build stairs, 10 years ago, and, my vision got the best of me, but I'm going to go back to carpentry, get some friends of mine who are still in carpentry to build this case for me. And, I'm going to design it. I'm going to put felt on the inside, just like a roadie's case, so that, this layout is rock solid. And all they have to do is plug in to the side of it, plug it into the wall, and it works.
Yeah. One question my dad, who has been doing woodworking and stuff for years, that he wanted me to have you think about in this story was, how when you buy ping pong tables nowadays, and you have where it sets up where you can either run it flat to play ping pong, or you fold it up into a skinny section on a framed wheel roll around frame that basically lets you store it in a tight spot, but also lets you move it. And that was one thing that my dad wanted me to ask you and Ed, was maybe if you can't always do them all suitcase style, maybe you could do it where the track separates in the middle. You could fold it up, and the building and the landscape would be on the outside, so it wouldn't be damaged by turning it in. And then you could roll it into a tight spot.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I've built a few layouts in my day, and you know what I do for a living here, so that's a point of failure that I wanted to avoid in the first case. I wanted the first case to be rock solid. It's going local to me, so that if anything goes wrong, it's going back on me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually solder all the rail together on the track, and put my own feeders in it and stuff, so that it is perfect, and That's a great idea for a larger scale or even a larger case that comes apart and stuff like that. And it kind of depends on what the hospital's, crew is who take care of these things. Maybe it's, volunteer little old ladies, and they're not going to want to do all this stuff. So,
Sure.
I just wanted to make the first one, perfect.
Sounds good.
So we've got a GoFundMe campaign, and the goal for the campaign is 1,000 Canadian dollars, and in American funds, that's probably about $700 to $750 right now, and all that money is going towards making this case the best it can be, the design of the case, and open sourcing everything so that we can possibly make a book that we can, ship out to people who want to do this thing and pay it forward in their local community. So if there's any excess money that goes, if we go over the goal and there's excess money and all that stuff, it's going to you with Operation Christmas Train Set.
We're going to take a quick 3-second break, and then we got one last final exciting story for you. Stay tuned, folks.
Dustin, you're going to Portland. You're moving up there in the ladder of model trains.
Yes, sir. I actually get to attend the National Train Show that is backed by the National Model Railroad Association.
How exciting.
At the Portland Expo Center this weekend. And I get to interact with such great minds like Tom Barbalet, Miles Hale, a lot of great guys, Tony Ryan, a lot of guys that I have met through Model Rail Radio that are just phenomenal individuals. I get to tour and see a lot of good layouts at the convention. There's actually 2 clubs that have raised funds for me during their open houses. They'll be presenting me checks live at the National Train Show. And there's going to be, Tom's already set me up with so many phenomenal meetings with NMRA individuals, manufacturers, big and small, to see what they can do. I get to meet the guy who is the owner of Micro Trains.
Cool.
And some other things. And I actually found out today from your friend at Walters that their vice president of operations is going to be at that train show, and she's already made arrangements for me to meet with him as well.
Sweet.
And we get to talk to Lionel Trains as well, Lionel Brand Trains. Once they get our 501c3 and we submit the paperwork to them, they're ready to go full throttle for next Christmas next year. They said they may even have some surprises that may be of a polar nature.
Cool. I got an idea of what that might be
for Christmas. So I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag completely on that one, but it's opened a whole lot of doors, and I think this train show is just the beginning because Tom said, don't be surprised, which I'm mentioning Tom Barbalet from Model Rail Radio. He said, don't be surprised if you don't get private invitations to go back and see these guys at their headquarters.
Oh, very cool.
And I've actually had 4 layouts that have invited me to basically make their layout area my home base while I go around and talk to the different manufacturers and stuff and just hang out with them, run trains, have a Coke or whatever, and just, really get to enjoy the show. And basically, this show, I have turned into a personal guest for multiple people. Yeah. And I think honestly, with Tom Barbalet putting the fire under his feet, and Tom Barbalet being passionate about what we do, I don't think I'm going to have any problems, Ron.
No, I don't think you're going to have any problems either. You know, someone who's made as much ground as you have since you started, when you started last November?
October.
Last October, and you're already at the NMRA convention, and you're in front of the eyes of all the people, the movers and shakers of the hobby.
Yeah, well, and the thing about it is you know, it's all about a choice, and you know, I choose to say, okay, you can either back me or you don't. That's fine.
You will earn their support.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is if I get told no by one, what's funny is, Ron, is I get told no by one, I get told yes by 3 or 4.
Yeah. Closed doors just open other doors for other people.
But I mean, the Portland convention, I never dreamed in my finite mind. I wasn't even prepared to go to Portland until Tom Barbalet mentioned it on Model Way Radio last week. And you were sitting right there when he said it.
Yeah.
You were on air when he said it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I never even thought about it because I knew it was out of range. It was, you know.
And you really can't afford the trip either, but through our encouragement, you know, it's really a once in a lifetime opportunity for you in the stage of the foundation, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing about it is, I've already got people asking me to make plans for Indianapolis next year.
Ha 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 ha. Here we go.
So, hey, dude, I'm gonna need a private secretary. I'm gonna need a private jet. Anybody you know that can help us out, I'll take it.
Cameraman.
I love it. But, you know, the thing about it is it doesn't go back to me. It goes back to doing what's right for the kids.
Hey.
And doing what, you know, doing what we can do to inspire the next generation and inspire, you know, a whole new hobby, plus fill a financial need. I don't know if you read the reports in the paper. I don't know if Canadian reports report the employment down here, but we are now 4% higher than what we were last year in people that are out of jobs. Mm-hmm. And that means no Christmas for a lot of kids. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That means no Christmas because I've been there. Mm-hmm. I was one of those kids when my dad was out of work or struggling to make ends meet. We didn't know where Christmas was going to come from. But through angels that decided to help me when I was a kid, I had a good Christmas because people stepped up and asked my parents, what can they do to help me? And that's what drives this whole thing, is not only inspiring the next generation of hobbyists, but to fill a need that will bring a smile to a child's face at Christmas. I don't know if you've ever been around train tracks when you see kids with their parents that are rail fans. The kids go bananas when they see that train coming down the track. Or like when we go to the Oklahoma City Museum up here, they have a day with Thomas where he actually pulls the passenger train around for a train ride. Those kids go berserk. They are just, oh my gosh, they are just in a whole other world. And I think that right there is the joy that it brings to a child is what drives this whole thing. That's why I'm going to Portland. That's why I'm going to meet with these guys. That's why I've got good friends and support like Tom Barbalet, yourself, and other people, that it's all about the kids and the next generation.
Okay, buddy, let's wrap this up because we're going to make this a short show every month so that we don't have too many people freaking out. So you excited?
Oh yeah.
I bet you're excited.
I actually have to be at the airport between 3:45 and 4:15 for TSA purposes.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a good idea.
Which I don't leave till 6:15, so it'll give me plenty of time to kind of chill out a little bit.
Okay, so I got the drive up. I got the article up.